And I can poke you in the eyes. He's doing it on purpose. He's done interviews about it.
And said he did it on purpose?
He said, yeah.
Stop. He ain't said that.
Yeah.
I want you to show me the interview where he said, I do it on purpose.
I saw a clip the other day. You can tell. You can look. And he said, and he said it might be illegal and stuff like that, but he said, hey, it works. He does it on purpose. Trust me.
You really believe he is the most methodical, most strategic fighter that's ever fought in the UFC?
Just ever.
He's saying before the fight that I'll end up poking him in the eyes at some point. And the reason why he says that is because I do poke people in the eyes. And it's very illegal, but I do it.
They need to step up and say, automatic 1 point, second time you do it, disqualifications, like no more.
After an unexpected end to the UFC 321 main event due to Tom Aspinall's eye poke incident, questions have been raised about the rules regarding eye pokes. UFC pros believe some fighters do such fouls intentionally to win, and Rampage Jackson targeted Jon Jones as an example. Rampage Jackson claims Jon Jones intentionally uses eye pokes as part of his defense. He describes Jones as the most methodical fighter in UFC history, with a mind that works differently from everyone else. Jackson explains that Jones trains the move and uses it strategically when opponents move in, making the eye poke a deliberate part of his defensive game.
I'm gonna tell you something about Jon Jones. Jon Jones is the most methodical fighter that ever stepped foot inside the UFC. His mind is totally different from ours. He knows exactly what he's doing when he does it. He knows exactly what he's doing. I know he trains that shit. I know that's his defense mechanism. It is. It's when you're advancing on him and you get
away so that you can't reach me. I don't got this long run. You can't reach me. You know.
And I can poke you in the eyes. He's doing it on purpose. He's done interviews about it.
And said he did it on purpose?
He said, yeah.
Stop. He ain't said that.
Yeah.
I want you to show me the interview where he said, I do it on purpose.
I saw a clip the other day. You can tell. You can look. And he said, and he said it might be illegal and stuff like that, but he said, hey, it works. He does it on purpose. Trust me.
On the other hand, Cyril Gane's coach, Fernand Lopez, responds to the incident at UFC 321, saying everything had been going according to plan. He adds that once Aspinall couldn't see, there was nothing they could do to change the outcome. Fernand Lopez said, for us, everything was going as planned. Absolutely planned. Unfortunately, if he can't see, he can't see. There's nothing we can do about it. Meanwhile, Henry Cejudo calls for stricter punishments for eye pokes, suggesting repeat offenders should face disqualification. He says the Nevada State Athletic Commission should enforce an automatic point deduction for the first offense and disqualify fighters if it happens a second time.
Looking back at it now, like what do you do with eye pokes? It happened to me and it happens to everybody, and the Nevada State Athletic Commission, they need to step up and say automatic 1 point, second time you do it, disqualifications, like no more. Like no more.
Henry Cejudo advises Tom Aspinall to consult the best eye specialist to assess his recovery timeline. He shared that he took one of Aspinall's friends, James Mistry, to see Sean O'Malley's eye doctor to understand what actually happens behind the eye. Cejudo believes Aspinall should do the same to determine how long it will take before he can safely return to competition.
I ended up going to actually Sean O'Malley's eye doctor. You know what I'm saying? Like how convenient, right? And he was able to kind of pull up the technology. And actually I brought some of Tom Aspinall's good friends. His name is James. He's with what's his name? James. Yeah, James Mystery. So he was able to see a little bit of what truly happens behind the eye. But this guy has all the gadgets. He's able to say, all right, this is what's causing you to see double. And he's legit able to pinpoint it. It's so cool, bro. It's so cool to see, like, get to know the eye. The eye's kind of like a world, bro. Like, you see a little bit of the world, man, and you know, you can see the damage on it. So if I'm also Tom, I'm probably looking at finding the best specialist to see, you know, to see how long it's going to take in order for him to come back and compete.
Andy Aspinall also urges the UFC to take stronger measures to prevent eye poke injuries. He says the current rules aren't enough and asks if it will take a serious incident, like a fighter getting poked and collapsing, to prompt change. He emphasizes that something must be done to ensure that what happened to Tom doesn't happen again.
The UFC have got some rules. What will it take to change those rules? Will it take somebody's eye being poked and falling on the floor? I don't know if that's a thing. I'm sure it's not, but what does it take? And is it the money that, you know, people won't watch the fights because they're not as exciting, because the gloves are not as good? I don't know the answer. The old Pride gloves were different, but something, from my point of view, needs to be done in the sport to stop happening. what happened on Saturday night in Tom's fight.
Jim Miller also believes the UFC should impose fines to reduce eye pokes. He says risking money would encourage fighters to keep their hands controlled and be more careful when striking, lowering the chances of accidentally hitting an opponent's eye.
We don't kick each other in the UFC. We don't kick each other to the head when the opponent is on the ground, because we lose. Because they have a very good track record of penalizing people that do so. I believe that if we brought in fines, right? Hey, the warning is in the back. Like, if you're gonna take my money away, I'm gonna make sure that my hands are closed when I'm reaching out. I'm gonna make sure that I don't poke somebody in the eye if you're gonna take my money away. But like, they're not even they're not really penalizing people, you know? And the thing is a lot of the time when somebody gets poked in the eye, their chances of victory are super slim. Like, the person that gets poked in the eye very, very rarely wins that.
Furthermore, Tom Aspinall's father provides a concerning update on his son's injury, saying Tom still cannot see out of his right eye, which appears completely gray. He adds that the left eye is partially working but very blurry, highlighting the severity of the damage.
We got an appointment yesterday morning with a friend of ours who is one of the doctors from the UFC, and he got us a private appointment at Cheadle Hospital to see an eye specialist yesterday. He kind of basically did the same as the guy that we saw over there, said it's bad, it's not good, but his eye is a little bit more closed than it was. His right eye still can't see anything. He said it's just grey. And they tested him on words and he just couldn't see anything. His left eye, 50%, he went down about 4 letters and then couldn't see the letters, so one's really, really blurry and one's still not working.
Andy Aspinall explains that severe eye injuries can sometimes cause the eye to shift, but doctors don't believe that happened to Tom. He says one eye wasn't moving properly due to weak muscles, while the other was in worse condition. And he adds that further tests, including a CT scan, are scheduled to check for any structural damage.
Sometimes when your eyes heal like that, it can become displaced and stay there. And they did a few tests on that and they said it doesn't seem like that. And his vision on the eye that's the best eye, his eye wasn't following properly, so the muscles weren't working strong enough to go this way. This one just wasn't working that good at all. So we've got to have additional tests further this week, and Moyes is sorting the tests out for us, and he's got to have a CT scan. See if the bones are right, but they think the bones are all right.
Andy Aspinall further shared his thoughts in the fight and said that when Tom's nose started bleeding during the fight, he didn't even realize it. Tom apparently thought it was just sweat, and Andy added that bursting his nose happens to him quite often.
And what was Tom's words to us the day, well, I think it was in the hospital, what did he say about that hit that he took on his face?
Yeah. He said, did you know that you'd got a burst nose? He goes, no, I thought it was sweat. So Tom bursts his nose quite often.
The adrenaline.
Yeah, it's just a burst nose. So what? Madness.
But that just shows the standard that Tom's at, that people think that he takes one hit and that he's in deep waters.
You only have to look at his ears to know whether Tom can take a punch.
It's just...
Meanwhile, Cyril Gane reflects on the eye poke and no contest at UFC 321, saying the fight started with strong, aggressive exchanges from both fighters. He notes the first round was intense and caused some damage, including Aspinall's bleeding nose. Gane admits he felt disappointed and sad about the outcome, but accepts it as part of the sport.
I think we started very well. I think he started very well, but I think I started very well because everybody knows his strategy every time he started very hard and surprise his opponent. I think we did very well. We defending a takedown. I touched him. We saw some blood on his nose. It was a really great first round, and that's why, yeah, maybe also I was a little bit disappointed, a little bit sad about this issue, but this is a sport.
Cyril Gane said he was first angry when the fight was stopped, as he didn't want it to end that way. Once his emotions settled, he felt disappointed and sad about the outcome, and later apologized to the fans and everyone affected by the incident.
It was the first angry because I don't want him. I don't want from him to stop the fight. After I was disappointed, sad, And after that,
apologetic,
exactly, for the people.
Cyril Gahn states that he doesn't think Tom Aspinall lied about the eye poke. He says he didn't feel any intent when his hands made contact and acknowledges how serious eye pokes can be, recalling a fight with Derek Lewis where he saw double for a full round. Gahn stresses that the incident was accidental and refuses to accuse Tom of dishonesty.
Cyril, how did you feel about the eye poke? How do you feel when your hands and your fingers touching his face? Did you feel something specific? Cyril responded, no, I didn't feel anything specific. I didn't do it on purpose. And I know what it is to have an eye poke because when I fought Derek Lewis, I got an eye poke and I was seeing two Derek Lewis for a full round. So I know how it is. And
one round during that is what the debut of the run and the rest of the run. So the two Derek Lewis. So I'm not gonna say yeah he's a liar.
Moreover, Aljamain Sterling revisits its comments on Tom Aspinall's reaction to the eye poke and maintains that his stance hasn't changed. He says, people may not like his opinion because of his own history with fouls, but the fact remains the same. Sterling explains that when Aspinall immediately said he couldn't see, it left the referee no choice but to stop the fight, as that's how the rules work. He believes Aspinall should have handled the situation differently, noting that while it's a natural reaction to panic after a foul, experienced fighters know to manage it better in the moment.
I made some comments on the Aspinall fight and how he handled the situation with the foul. And I think my opinion still stands. Yeah, you could say you don't like the messenger because I've been fouled and you guys think that I milked the injury. But fact still remains, when Tommy got poked in the eye, the first thing that he said was, I cannot see. And we all know when you are fouled, you cannot say those words, otherwise the ref is inclined to stop the fight because that is just the way the rules are written. And so, with that said, I think he should have handled the situation differently, and I think everybody will agree with that. You don't say those words. And of course, it's a natural reaction. You get poked, you go, oh, I can't see. Okay, but we're professionals. We've been here before. We've seen multiple fights like this, so we got to handle it as best as we could. And maybe that's what probably happened with Tommy. Who knows?
Aljamain Sterling clarifies he never questioned Tom Aspinall's integrity and understands why he stopped. He says fighting compromised against someone like Cyril Gahn would have been impossible and admits his earlier comments were partly in jest, noting the fight was already starting to get tough.
I don't know how badly hurt he was. I've never questioned Tommy's integrity. I've never questioned any fighter's integrity. But I do like to make fun of certain situations because I've gotten a very unfair share of flack from a lot of fans. I completely get where Tommy's coming from. You can't fight compromise like that. And thankfully, Tom was smart enough to understand I can't win a fight like this against a guy like this. And again, yes, I said the fight looked like it was starting to get tough. A busted nose early on. A lot of people have him as a big favorite. I think a lot of the stuff I say still stands.
Earlier, Aljamain Sterling got criticized for his take on Aspinall's eye poke situation. He said Tom Aspinall was already behind in the fight and quit the fight intentionally. Sterling criticizes the choice of saying, I can't see, explaining that those words automatically end a fight. Sterling suggests that if a fighter wants time to recover, they should ask for a moment instead of using that phrase. He notes the fight was starting to get difficult, which makes him question about how the poke actually affected Tom, though he doesn't doubt his integrity.
The reason why I think this does not look good, and I'm gonna just say it straight, Tommy Aspinall was losing that fight.
Curtis Blades and Corey Sandhagen discuss Tom Aspinall's eye poke incident. Sandhagen notes how deep the finger went into Aspinall's eye, admitting it looked far worse than he initially thought. They agree that while some fighters poke accidentally, others don't care and do it more often. Blades adds that some fighters openly admit to using illegal tactics, but Aspinall's opponent isn't known for that. They conclude that in this case, the poke appeared incidental, though it still looked very serious.
Look how far it goes into his eye on the one.
When you slow it
the
down,
one looks
looks
nasty.
Worse. Yeah.
I know, because at first I was like, I don't know, man, that ain't look that bad. But then it was like, ooh, dude.
Yeah, that one looks bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's nothing you could do with the gloves. I think some people just do it though.
Yeah.
I think that some people just poke people in the eyes more than the other people, and they don't really care.
I've heard other guys like openly, like Derek Lewis, he's openly said he will eye poke you or kick you in the balls just to get a break.
Has he poked a bunch of people in the eye?
No, it's not like he doesn't have a rep of this. He's not John Jones Jr.
Yeah, I don't think ever poked anyone in their eye.
Because you have really good hand placement also. You know,
I think it's because I give a shit, though.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me try to not poke this fool in the eye.
It was incidental because he was like hosting. He tries to bring it back. Then look like he drives. Oh, there it looks like he drives into it. Yeah, that looks bad.
Yeah, it looks bad. The
slow-mo is bad.
However, Paul Felder admits he was initially frustrated by the eye poke and thought Tom Aspinall should have kept fighting in the heavyweight title bout. However, seeing the severity of the injury and that both eyes were affected changed his perspective. He explains that only Aspinall knew how impaired his vision was, and notes that facing a precise fighter like Cyril Gane with limited sight would have been dangerous. Felder believes stopping was the smart and safe choice.
I was as disappointed as anybody else. And I think at first, I really was kind of on the side of, man, Tom, like, come on, you got to step up. This is a main event, this heavyweight title. Take as much time as you need, but get back in there. I think when I saw the poke and how bad it was and the fact that it compromised both eyes, it was ugly. And you're right, that only Tom Aspinall really knows. Could he have continued? And I think I talked to a few people about this, and somebody brought up a really good point to me that let's say that he could kind of see, but it was not great 100%. And you're in there with a guy like Cyril Gane, who's on point. He's on point. You haven't been in the octagon in a really long time. And now you're compromised. And even if you maybe can continue, you know, I think there was a part of it that was like, I'm not fighting this guy with not 100% vision.
Paul Felder explains that after a serious eye poke, a fighter's vision often remains impaired throughout the fight. He says the blurriness can worsen with movement, making it extremely difficult to compete effectively. Felder notes that Cyril Gane was already landing clean shots when Aspinall's vision was intact, so continuing while half-blind would have been risky. He believes Tom made the correct choice to stop and emphasizes that Gane, who committed the foul, bears responsibility.
After a poke like that, you're not going to have 100% vision. Even as the fight goes on, you're still going to be a little blurry. You're still going to be rubbing your eye. And if anything is off with Cyril Gane on that night, he's catching you. He's finding you. He's already finding the mark when you had two eyes that were working 100%. So I do think there was a part of it where he was thinking, I'm not continuing this because now I'm compromised. And it's on Cyril Gane because he is the one that committed the foul, right? I know there's been a lot of talk, and I know you're thinking the same thing. There's been a lot of talk of Tom. We're kind of getting lost in that, and whether he could have or couldn't have, it was Cyril Gane that made a pretty egregious foul there. So and that's got to be addressed.
That wraps up today's video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more MMA updates and reactions.